The American Radio Relay League, say the name real slow. Biggest club on paper, but nobody wants to go. 15% membership, yeah, that's your crown. Claiming to speak for hams while the rest tune you out. Yeah. You don't answer phone calls, don't answer emails, but you cash every check like the system never fails. Living off goodwill vibes and nostalgic glue. Do something, anything, so they cling to you. You built a maze to keep us out. Fees up front, hoops all around. New clubs drowning paperwork hell. Gatekeepers smiling while the hobby sells itself. Bloated and stale, bureaucratic fail. Less for more, dues go up. Print gets cut, still fill your cup. Relevance lost, marching on no matter the cost. 50 bucks turns into 59. Magazines gone, but hey, CEO's fine. 360 grand plus perks on top, while the whole damn organization rots. 50% to salaries, benefits too. Tell me again what the hell you do. Members aging, dying off. New blood laughs and walks it off. You cling to systems stuck in time, like it's 1989. National traffic system, gathering dust. Logbook of the word nobody trusts. Stuck in the past, fading fast. Less for more, dues go up. Innovation, you never show up. You miss the mark again, right from the start. YouTube not, streaming nope. Social media, you wouldn't cope. The digital world passed you by while you polished plaques and wondered why. The hobby moved, you stayed behind. Still shocked, no one standing in line. Biggest name, smallest pulse. Searching for relevance by sheer impulse. Floundering forward, pretending it's fine. A slow motion collapsing committee tide. American Radio Relay League, too big to fail. You're too weak to lead.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is our Friday night edition of the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Hoping that the show is finding you well on your end tonight. We're doing the normal gig here. I got Mama Kitty here. Daddy doesn't come in much anymore. He had that stroke or whatever, and I think whatever happened to him happened in here, because now he doesn't like it in here anymore. But he was never an indoor cat to begin with, so. But we'll get him back in for a short visit. The little kitten's out there. I think I'm gonna go try to grab the little kitten. I want to show the little kitten off. Other than that, that's what we've got going on tonight. There's not a lot of video to show you guys tonight. We're preparing for a rocket launch. I'm not even sure when it is. I was late getting home and getting set up. I had a lot going on tonight, so it is what it is. I was a little less than perfectly prepared. The top center is, it just says out on patrol. That's all it says, but it is live. And of course, we got news in the upper right. And then we've got this California rocket launch on the two left ones. And I'm going to see if I can figure out when that's supposed to go up. There it is. January 2nd, 9:09 p.m. Eastern. Looks like we're in the window for this one. Oh shit, they're loading this thing.
And quick correction there, this is SpaceX's first mission of the new year, 2026.
Gas closeout.
F9 is in startup.
F9 is now in startup. Stage 1 and Stage 2 are beginning to press for launch.
All right, here we go, guys. We've got a launch about to go up. Let me get the info on this.
There you heard, LDs go for launch.
We are
At
go
the
for
T-minus
launch.
30 seconds mark, all systems should be go for launch.
Hold on, I'm going to pipe in your sound directly here.
T-minus 3 seconds.
Here we go. All right, you're piped in with the sound. Here we go. This is going to be a Falcon 9 SpaceX.
15 seconds.
SLC 4 Echo Vandenberg.
T-minus 10,
landing pad that it's
9,
on, the launch pad.
8,
California.
7,
Here we
6,
go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Cosmo. Vehicle is pitching downrange. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
This is launching an Earth observation
Head to place
satellite
30
for the
seconds into
Italian
flight.
Space
Falcon 9 has
Agency.
successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. We're currently throttling down to prepare for max Q, the point of maximum aerodynamic stresses on the vehicle. Max Q is reached when the air density of the atmosphere decreases faster than the increasing speed of the rocket.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
That means it just crossed the speed of sound. Currently 2.1 G-forces.
Q.
And there you heard max Q. From here on, even though velocity is rapidly increasing, the atmospheric
Back to.
density atmospheric density is decreasing, resulting in less loads on Falcon 9. Now we have several events coming up in quick succession, starting with MECO, stage separation, stage 1 flip, second engine start, or SES1, the boost back burn, and fairing deploy.
All right. This is live coverage of the Falcon 9 launch out of Vandenberg, California. This is Starship Adventures, the sights and sounds of Earth. Stay with us. I've got the chat room up. I'm reading it now.
Cut off. Separation confirmed.
Hey, Cherokee. Hey, Old Fashioned. Hey, Junior.
Back ignition.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Heath. Let's see here. Kitty, hey, how you doing tonight? Deploribus. Bo Hickley. What's up, guys? And is it Blanca Martinez? Welcome in. Thank you for coming tonight.
There you heard and saw those 6 events that happened back to back, including main engine cutoff, stage separation, stage 1 flip.
This is the sights and sounds of Earth on Starship Adventures, and we cover whatever's going on. And right now we're covering the launch of Falcon 9, SpaceX, from Vandenberg, California.
The entry burn is used to slow the first stage as it heads towards landing zone 4.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
It's funny how they say nominal. Nominal literally means normal.
We're currently in our first MVAC burn, and this burn should last for another few minutes.
All right, there on the screen, the left screen, is the booster section.
The next milestone will be first stage entry burn, coming up in a little over 2 minutes.
Those weird paddles you see sticking out there that look like some kind of ping pong paddles or something, or tennis rackets, those actually move like this and like this. And
today's Falcon 9 is performing 2 burns in order to land. The first burn, known as the entry burn, slows the vehicle down before hitting the denser parts of the Earth's atmosphere.
You can also see it has thrusters. When it whites out suddenly like that right next to the hull, that's a thruster firing. It's just little puffs of air, basically, to allow the vehicle to move in a certain direction. This is pretty precarious here.
Without this burn, we'd only be using the atmospheric drag to slow down the Falcon 9, which would add extra stress to the vehicle. Following the entry burn, the booster will initiate the landing burn, which should slow the vehicle down even more for a successful landing at Slick 4.
How cool is that they're going to bring this rocket in now? I don't know if they're catching this one or landing this one. I think in California they're catching them now, so we'll see. I don't know.
Both vehicles continue to follow nominal trajectories.
When Falcon 9 fires up the center M1D engine for re-entry, the vehicle will be flying through Merlin's exhaust gases, also known as the rocket's plume, which deposit a layer of soot on the vehicle's surface. You'll see these marks across the flight-proven Falcon 9 first stage fleet. That soot comes from a carbon-based fuel that Falcon 9 uses, and with each flight, the soot builds up a little more on the outside of the vehicle. Falcon 9 is equipped with 4 hypersonic grid fins, positioned near the top of the first stage that help steer the first stage as it returns to Earth. The white puffs coming off Falcon 9 that you may see on the screen are cold nitrogen gas, which helps with altitude control.
I agree with you, Heath. That's become my favorite part as well, to be honest. I've got to where I just, if when they stick the landing, I'm like, yeah, there we go, it's a winner. And they're like, well, we're not done yet. We're just getting started. I don't care. That's all I go. I came for the landing. Here, we set that a little better so we can see all the gauges. There we go.
Entry burn startup.
And there was the call out for entry burn startup on the Falcon 9 first stage. This burn is set to last about 30 seconds and again is slowing down the vehicle in preparation for its final burn and landing.
All right, so the information on the left side of the screen, that's for stage 1. And the information on the right side of the screen there is for stage 2.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And that concludes our entry burn. As mentioned earlier, we will be attempting to recover this booster. Today the booster is targeting a landing
Vehicles continue to follow nominal trajectories.
Today this booster is targeting a landing at Launch Complex 4 West. You can follow along with the burn on the engine graphic at the bottom of your screen. As the burn happens, you'll notice a decrease in both speed and altitude. And this is coming up in about 20 seconds.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
1 transonic. Stage 1 landing burn.
And there you heard the call out for landing burn start on the Falcon 9 first stage. Again, this is the final burn that this booster will execute before landing.
We're down to 1 kilometer. There it is. You can see the ground coming up. Look at that.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
And they stick it. God, I love it, dude. That's my favorite part.
And as
They
you
stuck
saw
the
and
landing.
probably heard, we had a successful first stage landing.
No
Coming
shit.
up
The
next,
landing
we are
confirmed.
expecting the shutdown of the second stage MVAC engine. This is known as second engine cutoff 1 or SECO 1.
I love that crap that's building up right here. Man, that's pretty damn cool. You know what's funny? I want you to think about something. When we were kids, when we were in the 70s and the 80s, and we watched the movies in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, and they would show the rockets going and landing.
Now, if you're
like
just
they
joining
take
us
off,
today,
we used to say,
we
man,
have
that's
had a
so
successful
fake.
launch and landing
That's what
of
they're
our
doing
first
today.
stage Falcon 9 booster. This is for the Cosmos SkyMed FM3 mission. Coming up in about 20 seconds, we have
2 FTS
SECO
is
1
Hey, Victor, what's up,
or
man?
second engine cutoff 1.
Hey, Texas, you're not that late. We just been watching another launch, and they stuck
Stage
the
2 is entered
landing.
terminal guidance.
It was perfect. We're watching this ice build up on the top of the engine here.
Back shutdown.
Hi, Mama.
There you heard a successful cutoff of our second stage engine and waiting for confirmation of good orbit.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And there we heard the call out for good orbit. Payload deployment is now coming up in just a few minutes and is expected just before the T plus 13-minute mark. It has been a great launch and overall mission so far. We have had an on-time liftoff at 6:09 p.m. Pacific time, and we recovered the first stage for its 21st launch and landing.
You hear that?
The MVAC engine on the second stage ignited just a couple minutes after liftoff, also known as Second Engine Start 1 or SES-1. That engine burn lasted about 8 minutes, propelling the second stage and our payload to orbit. And coming up, the most important milestone for the mission, payload deployment, which is expected just before the T+13 minute mark. Cosmos SkyMed is a dual-use civil and military Earth observation program sponsored by the Italian Space Agency and the Italian Ministry of Defense. For almost 20 years, Cosmos SkyMed has been observing the Earth using advanced radar technology capable of operating day and night in all weather conditions. The system provides critical data for environmental monitoring, climate studies, security, emergency management, and protection of land, marine, and coastal areas. The constellation currently consists of 4 fully operational satellites, 2 first-generation satellites, and 2 second-generation satellites. With today's launch, a third second-generation satellite will join the constellation. The addition of Cosmos SkyMed second-generation FM3 will expand data availability and improve monitoring capabilities with tangible benefits for society, from safety and emergency responses to environmental sustainability.
Guys, I don't see any truth to the rumor that Marina Sirtis is dead. She is still alive. She's still kicking. I just checked 3 sources quickly, and she is
a
still
successfully deployment of Cosmos SkyMed. And that brings us to the end of our live mission coverage. We would like to thank the Italian Space Agency for entrusting us with their spacecraft today. And we also want to say thank you to the range.
Okay, well, there you go. There's the coverage of that. And that wasn't so bad. I do have a few things I'm going to cover tonight as well. I've got some other things here. I watched a video tonight. Somebody sent me a link to it. And I watched a video tonight on, basically it was on the ARES and RACES and what's going on with all that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight. I think it's an important topic. There was a lot of people that have asked me about it. You know, why didn't you join RACES, you know, being in the fire department and all? Well, the truth is I did. I was a member for a year. It was a joke. The people running it was a joke. It was, they were using all these weird rules and levels. I'm going to get into it. And I'm going to talk about all the education I got for nothing. Yes, the FBI did foil a terrorist attack in North Carolina. That is a fact, and I'll try to get something on that later. But yeah, that is an absolute fact that they did, and that brings the total to. That depends on how you count it, 2 or 3. That big cell phone attack, I don't think we're really sure on when they were going to do that. But that one in California was New Year's Eve. This one was New Year's Eve as well. All right. Okay, let's see where we're at here. There's several things I do want to talk about tonight, and one of them is we're going to go through the news real quick, and then after we do that, I'm going to talk about emergency radio service, and I'm going to talk about how it works and who's involved, and basically where we're at today when it comes to ARES, which is the Amateur Radio Emergency Services, or the RACES. We're going to talk about what these services are, what they were, where they are today, and who's still doing them and why. And we're also going to talk about how they got so screwed up. And we're going to do all that coming up in the next few minutes. But first, Marie Desertis is not dead. Geomagnetic storms are possible on January 3rd and 4th. So tomorrow night, we've got a pair of coronal mass ejections expected to hit Earth's magnetic field. The first one was launched by a powerful M7 flare on December 31st. The second followed that on January 1st, propelled by a weaker but better aimed C6 class solar flare. Their combined impact could cause a G2 class geomagnetic storm. The only bad news for this one is we are going to have reduced visibilities due to the glare and light coming from this weekend's full wolf moon. And you guys know about the they have all these weird names for the moons, and they're generally all harken back to the days and the crops and all that. The Wolf supermoon rises this week, marking the first of 13 full moons in 2026. It is true, there's 13 full moons in 2026, where many years just have 7, or just have the traditional 12. The first full moon of the year is set to illuminate the UK skies on January 3rd, bringing some dazzle to the post-Christmas dip. Also known as the Wolf Moon, it will be the 4th supermoon in a row, following October's Harvest Moon, November's Beaver Moon, and the Cold Moon in December. Viewing is dependent on the weather, but hopefully with largely clear skies, it will be a celestial treat. Let's see. The next time the moon will be this bright and this large in the sky will be November. See, the moon is on, it's not on a standard orbit. It's on basically a warbling orbit. And it's always in a different spot. That's why you can look out your east-facing window in the morning or in the evening, whenever the moon's coming up. And you'll be like, man, that moon's way over there today. Wow, it's way down there today. Well, that's true. The moon is on a warbling orbit. It's never in the same spot twice. Yep, tomorrow night is the Wolf Moon. Yeah. As far as races goes, I think it's Delaware, has just disbanded theirs. And it's just kind of going away. They don't even do the racy stuff down here. They do ARES down here, pretty much. Yeah, but I'll talk about all that in just a minute. Anyway, so we've got this supermoon coming up. And so we're watching that. Man, it's been a busy year on the sun. Holy crap. A very busy year. All right, and let's see what else is going on. The drama coming out of Minnesota continues as more and more, not just more and more daycare centers and more home health care centers are coming under suspicion and investigation. But now we're in a situation where we're looking at completely different kinds of fraud. They're now looking at, areas that we haven't even looked at yet. If you're getting federal money, you need to be investigated, and that's kind of that's what they're looking at now. Yeah, the ARL, they got control of ECOM, but it doesn't matter anymore. It's a moot point, really. It's all folding up over the next few years. I'm gonna talk about that. But anyway, there's really not a whole lot going on in the news right now. I don't know what's going on with this story here. Coast Guard searches for survivors after U.S. strikes suspected narco-terrorist vessel in the Eastern Pacific. At least 2 narco-terrorists abandoned the ship after their boat was sunk. It's always good to abandon it after it's sunk. The U.S. Coast Guard is continuing a search for survivors after a strike Tuesday targeting 3 suspected narco-trafficking vessels traveling as a convoy in the Eastern Pacific. The ships, allegedly operated by designated terrorist organizations, were traveling in international waters and allegedly transferred narcotics between the 3 vessels just prior to the strikes. 3 narco-terrorists were reported killed aboard the first vessel, while those others remaining. Let's see. Okay, so that's what's going on there. I really don't care about this whole thing with Venezuela. I kind of wish Trump would just not. I don't want him to start anything new. I want to just keep it chill. But I understand what he's doing. I understand the problems with it right now. Okay, very good. All right, so let's go ahead. What I wanted to talk about tonight when it comes to the ARES races stuff is I saw a video on another channel, and the guy was like, do we need this anymore? What's going on with it? There's been a lot of complaints about they make you go through all this training and then the county never uses you and da-da-da-da-da. Yes, all that's true. There's a lot of things true about races and ARES. Now, I want to qualify what I'm about to say, okay? Here we go. You ready? Everywhere's different. You may live in a county that's within a state that's got everything going right, okay? But I also know that there's other states where it's just completely collapsed. And I'm going to talk about things in somewhat general terms. If you disagree with me, let me know. Let's talk about it. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to get pissed at you or anything like that. I do like to have a discussion. Remember, I'm retired from emergency services. I'm a retired fire chief. I was a cop for 8 years while I was a fire chief. While I was a lieutenant at the fire department, I was off 2 out of 3 days, so I went and joined up the sheriff's department part-time. So I'm one of these unique people that not only was a cop and a firefighter, but I also did dispatching and training and a lot of other things too. And I also was on the disaster response team and was one of only 3 people in the county trained to deploy the communications equipment, the trailer and the bus. I actually drove the bus most of the time. It was a lot of fun. I was very much into public safety for about 20 years. So when I talk about ARES and races, I used to actually be one of the emergency managers that worked with races and ARES in the ARRL within our within the Emergency Operations Center. I was actually the operations assistant there for a while, and one of my jobs was to coordinate with ham radio. So I tried back then to get my license 3 or 4 or 5 times. I think 5 total in my life. I tried to get my license, and I couldn't. I cannot pass the code test. I'm dyslexic. And so all those years I couldn't be a ham radio operator because they required ham radio operators to not be dyslexic because you had to do Morse code. Well, now they finally got rid of that code requirement completely, thank God. And now I am, I'm basically, I just got my license and I'm doing good now. However, when I got my license about 5 or 6 years ago, I immediately said, well, I'm going to join races and ARES because it was very helpful back then. It was, our radio systems were still not completely hardened. Cell phones were still, the car phones were just starting to pop up. We were still, if you had enough money, you could buy a radio phone. But talking on a phone in your car was extremely expensive. And so there was a need for it back then. And so I wanted to join up. So once I got my license, I had already been out of public safety for 20 years or whatever at that point, or 15 years. I went ahead and I joined the local races. And I joined the local club. And immediately what I found out was, it's not inclusive. It's kind of like a club where everybody's like, you're either already in or you're not. I met the old guy that ran the thing. I asked a bunch of questions, and I told him about my experience and what I've done, and I used to work in this very building, and Um, I got the feeling right up front that they really didn't like people that had been in public safety, or they didn't like anybody or anything like that. So it's kind of weird. So I got in it, and he said, here's what you need to do. You need to take these classes. Okay. So I was only working part-time at the time. I didn't have a lot going on in my life. I had some time. I sat there and I took the ICS 1, the ICS 16, both from ARRL. I took the FEMA. I took every single one of the required courses. I think there was 10 or 12 of them. And not only did I take all of the required ones, I also took 2 of the optional ones because I wanted to be able to serve as a public information officer because of my experience both in public safety and in the media. I figured I could be valuable in that position. And so I took all these classes. I finished my task book, all 3 levels. I filled everything out. I walked in there and I said, here's my task book, it's done. Here's the affidavit signed by the people that watched me make a PL239 connector, and here's an affidavit from someone who watched me do this and that. Everything was all done like you're supposed to do it. I said, so this should get me all the way to level 3 so I can start going on out of county activations, because that was the rule. You couldn't go on out of county unless you were level 3. So I went and took every single class and everything. It's not a rank. It's not a rank. It's a qualification. So in other words, you don't have to like wait 5 years to get promoted. Once you take the classes, you become that level, and then you can then respond to that level. Well, in order to respond to an out of the county emergency, to be a communicator, I have to have level 3. And so I did everything. I did it in about 2 weeks. I did every class, every assignment. I got everything. I even did Skywarn, and I've got my Skywarn certificate. That was a bitch just because nobody knows anything about it anymore or does anything with it anymore. But I did finally get it done. And so I've got all this training, a total of, I think, 13 or 14 different qualifications and certifications that I went and got so that I could be a member of ARES, to sit there and work for free. Okay. And I became very disenchanted with it, because after I went to do all that, I gave my task book to the guy, and he says, okay, and I showed him everything was done in there, and he kind of acted weird, like I did something wrong. And then he came back to me later and he says, this is the wrong task book. And I said, no, this is the task book. And I had it all typed out and everything. This is the wrong task book. You have to use our task book. Well, can I get a copy of it? No, we don't have copies of it. So how do I get a task book that there's no copies of? It took me 2 months calling, and he finally emailed me a PDF of their task book, which was basically the same task book with different titles on it, and a few things were changed, but the changes were minuscule. So I went ahead and I typed it out. I finished it all out. I ran it into the computer. I recreated it. I filled it all out. I had all of my certificates stapled on the back. It was a packet about 25 pages. I filled it all, walked in and handed it to him. Here's the new task book. It's all done. It's finished. He said, what do you mean it's finished? I said, it's finished. He said, level 1? I said, no, it is finished. All 3 levels. It's done. He says, how could you have done that? I said, well, I'm only working 20 hours a week right now, and I don't have a life, so I just sat down and I knocked it out. He's like, all 3 levels? I said, yeah. He goes, what about the educational requirements? I said, no, all 3 levels. I've done the education. I've got all the certificates back from FEMA, from ARRL, from NOAA. I got everything back. Here it is. It's all in the book. It's all stapled here. It's all listed in order. Everything just like the ARRL wants you to do it. I've got it all here. It's done. I just need you guys to check it off and sign it. He takes the book and he sticks it in his book and he turns around and walks away. I'll get back to you. And he turns around and walks away. Okay. 6 months goes by. I'm going to meet every meeting, the same blue screen. Every meeting, the same blue screen. We walk in, we sit down, and they say, okay, today we're going to learn how to do message handling or something. And it's the same blue screen that we used last month. It's basically, nobody knew how to make a PowerPoint. How can people be ham radio people and not know how to use a computer? It doesn't really follow, but whatever. And so I'm like, I finally asked, I'm like, look, it's been 6 months. Did you guys get my task book signed off? I really want to be eligible if something happens to go out of town. Hurricane season's coming up. I want to be ready. He says, yeah, we're working on it. And he puts me off again. And he puts me off. And he puts me off 9 months in. I walk in there and I said, look, what's up with my book? Can I just have it back? Is there somewhere else I can get it signed off? What do I have to do? And he hands it to me. He pulls it out of his book and he hands it to me. He had it with him the whole time. And I thumb through it. And everything for level 1 is signed off. Nothing is signed off for level 2 and nothing is signed off for level 3. I'm like, what is the story? Why are you not signing off my level 2 and my level 3? He looks right at me and says, none of us are qualified through the ARRL to sign off level 2 or level 3 right now. So I asked him, I said, well, where do I go to get this signed off? Because you can't participate out of town unless you're a level 3. Come to find out, there was no level 3s in my local group of 30 guys. There was no level 3s. There was probably maybe a few level 2s. And so they were literally stalling me because nobody had the qualification yet, and they certainly didn't want me to be the first to get it, I guess. I don't know. So I start asking more questions, and I start getting them all being assholes to me. And I asked a bunch of different people, who can I go talk to about my book? I contacted my section manager for ARRL. Never heard back. Sent email after email, never heard back. I emailed all kinds of people at the ARRL. I called their switchboard and spoke to some lady several times and left several messages, including the message that this is my second message and no one's responding to me. They don't give a shit about you. And at the time, I was a paid member of the ARRL and a member of ARES and RACES, and they wouldn't return my phone calls. So finally, I quit. I walked in, I said, look, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and resign. I'm done. And he says, okay, no problem. And he turned and walked away. He don't even want to hear why. He don't even want to hear why. He's just glad I'm gone. So I left, and I figured, you know, of all the people in that room, I was the most qualified to be in the ARES team. I actually was on that county's disaster response team as the communications coordinator. I mean, they had it made with me, and they ran me off. They ran me off. It's like, why would they do that? Well, because you don't want people coming up below you that are sprier than you, that are younger and brighter than you, and that have a lot more experience and training than you, and have done all the levels, and you have not. And so I finally started sending letters. I never could get a direct response. But I finally figured out through a lot of deductive reasoning and a little bit more research that the ARRL is who actually appoints the ARES director for your county. And they had appointed somebody that's like 90 years old and couldn't use a computer. And the guy they had appointed as the ARES commander for our area was a level 1. He had only done level 1 in his book, but he was the commander of our team. And technically, he was not eligible to go on a response, even in the county. You had to be a level 2 in order to be able to go to a shelter. A level 1 can either be trained or can work with someone in the dispatch center, but they cannot go out in the field till they're a level 2. That's the rule. I finally asked, who here is a level 2? And everybody just looked around. They literally come to all these meetings and do all this shit, but they cannot be bothered to take these stupid little things. They only take a couple hours a piece. It really wasn't a big deal. Now, this is mine. There may be some that are running great out there. Who knows? I doubt it, but maybe. So I quit. So I still participated in the drills. I still did a lot of the drills on the radio. I did it mostly because I just wanted to make sure I had all the channels working and that I was able to do everything. So when they have a drill, all amateurs are allowed to participate. They encourage all amateurs to participate. So I participated. I would call in, and they would be like doing this big, huge drill, and there's only like 12 people participating. I'm like, there's 50 people in this group, 42 people in this group, whatever, and you only got like 20 people that showed up today for the drill. The problem we have down here is all the hams that get involved in this stuff are all old, they're all retired, and a lot of them are entitled because of the jobs they've had up north and stuff. And we get a lot of this shit down here where these people just expect things to be given to them. And so, I mean, there's some of that going on too. Anyway, the long story of it is I quit the group down here. I quit the team, the ARES team. I quit all of it because it was all just a joke. It was an absolute joke. So a lot of people believe there's like a conspiracy that ARES is being dismantled. That's what this video is about. That ARES and RACES, it's in decline because it's simply just whatever, you know, it's a conspiracy to get rid of it. There's no conspiracy. There's no conspiracy. Let me make it clear. We don't need ARES or RACES anymore for anything, okay? This guy's complaints in the video were, he was reading an email from a listener. The listener's complaints were that, hey, nobody calls us to work marathons anymore. Nobody calls us to work emergencies anymore, floods and tornadoes and hurricanes. Nobody calls us to participate in anything or drills or anything. Nobody calls us, and I want to make sure you guys know there's no conspiracy. Nobody calls you because they don't need you anymore. Okay, we have right now cellular telephone, we have cellular radio, we have down here we've got a statewide connected system that the state takes over that we're not even allowed to use unless it's a life or death emergency. You've got ARES, you've got RACES, I'm sorry, let me go back. You've got hold on, I'm bad with acronyms. You've got FRS, you've got GMRS, you've got MURS, you've got all these different radio systems out there. You now have what they call cellular two-way radio, which is that one where you pay the $300 and it's an unlimited talk radio for the entire year, and it covers the equipment and everything. Freedom Talk or whatever the shit it's called. You got that going on now. You got Starlink. You've got internet, Wi-Fi internet. All the cable companies and everything have got all Wi-Fi connected internets in everybody's home now. So when you're traveling and roaming around, there is so many ways for you to get on and get connected and have communication with someone else. That I just don't think I don't think ham radio. I don't know. I think personally for you, it's a good idea to have it, use it, know it. But as far as the county needing it, they don't need it and they don't want it. They haven't wanted us in a long time. Look, in every county, the ARES people have burned the bridge. In almost every county. They've had it out with them here in years past. Charlotte County, they used to fight so bad up there that they had banned all of the ARES people from the EOC. I'm not lying. And what reputation do they have when they show up? They're a bunch of bossy wannabe curmudgeon Karens that are old. You can't send somebody that's 70-year-old and shitting their pants to a shelter that may be without power for 2 weeks. So who do they send? They run off all of the younger people. So all that's left is the 60-somethings and the 70-somethings and the 80-somethings. That's all that's left. And then, oh, we need to go and send somebody where? Well, they didn't send anybody to any of the really bad areas because they were worried because all the people that showed up were over 65 years old. So they didn't send them to any of the areas where communications might actually be needed. They only sent them to areas where they knew they would be safe. Guess what? Cell phones stayed up. I had a camera down in the flood area. It stayed up the whole night on standard cell phone coverage. The cell phones stayed up because when there's a bad storm, everybody leaves, which means that there's plenty of coverage for the ones of us that stay behind. Which brings me to the next thing. Bad storm. What do old people do when a storm comes? They chicken shit out and they run. I would never run from a hurricane, all right? I've been through every hurricane here. Cat 5 hurricanes here. Cat 4, Cat 4, Cat 3. I've been through them over and over. This shack has been through them, all right? This studio rode out Cat 3 winds with big straps over the top of it. I had done everything I could to protect it. And it was struck by the neighbor's roof and survived. But the point is, all these people ran. They all trained for years. They planned for years. They memorized codes and frequencies for years to be ready for that storm. And then when it came, them and their wife and their little poodle got in their car and drove all the way up to Georgia somewhere to get a cheap hotel room. What was all that training for? Level 1, level 2. How about chicken shit level 4? Huh? You left. If everybody leaves, what do we need ARES for? It's literally like the clear weather emergency guys. I mean, am I off base on that? You guys tell me, am I off base? Why do we need ARES? During Ian, during the height of the storm, I was calling out on the local ARES station, on the local ARES repeaters, because I wanted to see if the repeaters were still up. All of our repeaters stayed up. The county's P25 system stayed up, which does all the cities. It does everything from buses to garbage trucks. It does everything. It stayed up. Everybody had communications. The cell phones stayed up. Of course, simplex radio, of course, worked. Everything worked. Marine band, everything worked, because that works even in a disaster. Everything worked. And the things that normally go down, cell phones, government radio systems, broadcast television, broadcast radio, none of that went down. You want to know why? We have learned how to harden these systems. My work was flooded during Ian. We had bulkheads at 4 feet. The water was lapping over the top of the bulkheads. We ended up with 1 inch or 2 in the building. Okay? Destroyed our building, messed our whole building up. We worked through it. They would hammer on shit right up till the time we went on the air. It was crazy. So, I mean, I know I've been through this, you know, and they're hardening. How are we hardening? We're moving the whole thing. We're moving 15 radio stations, we're moving 4 TV stations, and we're moving 3 print media outlets, all to one big, huge hurricane-hardened building way out by our regional airport east of I-75, out where it's safe, where our employees will be safe when they're there. Because we are going to stay up through the storm no matter how bad it is. I don't think nature could deal a blow. And I know people say, you shouldn't say shit like that. I don't care. I don't think nature could deal a blow right now that we couldn't get through with our current day advanced communication systems that we have. Our counties with their trunked systems. You want to go out? What you want, Mama? What you want, Mom? What you're meowing? What you want? What you want? What? I don't. Does any of you guys know what she's saying? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, you've got cell phones, you got Starlink, you got. I mean, you got so many things out there now that all stayed up during Ian. They all stayed up during Category 5 Hurricane Ian. Even on the beach, everything's gone. There's the cell phone tower over there. It's still working. It's crazy. They build these things right now. They build these things like a brick shit house. You want to go outside? Here, you want to go outside? There you go. No worries. She wanted to go outside. She wants to be an indoor cat, but she still prefers to do her business outside. So she's having a little. She will want back in 10 minutes. It's cold out there, at least for her. Duval County, Jacksonville, ARES is good. Okay, yep. I'm not going to argue. Probably doing okay. Whether they need them or not, who knows? You must hopefully your guys are allowing some younger folks in. The ones here really don't like younger folks, especially ones with experience, training, or education. Those are 3 things they really don't like, because they like to be the bigwig, you know. That's kind of one of those things where it becomes an ego thing where I don't like this guy right off the bat. Well, why don't you like him? Probably because he's got a lot bigger resume than you do. All right, so anyway, yeah, and they're not all bad, but they're not all. I've heard horror stories from around the country. I've read them. I've watched them on YouTube. There's a lot of them out there. Check it out. There's a lot of people that have had very bad luck in ARES and RACES. The ham bands were dead during Ian. They were even during Irma. There was some activity during Irma, but that was a few years earlier. The 2 storms after Ian, nothing. What happened? Even the guy that runs the local ARES got in his car and drove away. They all left. I mean, yes, it was a bad hurricane, but they all left. Shouldn't you have planned for that? I mean, I don't know. It's like they do it because they like the prestige, or they like the meeting in the EOC, or they like to tell people they're on the disaster response team, or I don't know what it is. Why would you work all that hard to be on a team that you have no intention of supporting when the shit actually hits the fan? You know? You got 72-year-old men in their compression socks. And they want to go down by the beach at a shelter where they're going to have 150 mile an hour winds outside. Oh, and then they're like, well, yeah, I'll go down there, but I'm not driving my car down there. Well, they expect you to drive your car down there? I mean, there's some weird shit that goes on, you know? If you drive your car to a disaster area and park it there before the disaster, guess what your car is going to look like after the disaster? I mean, there's some real issues here. They only use our ARES team here only for shelter, communications, and that's it. And that's why in the last 3 or 4 storms, there has been absolutely no need or want for ARES or RACES. We had a Cat 5 hurricane go through here and everything stayed up. Why are they no longer supporting marathons and public events and you know? Well, first of all, in the 6 or so years I've been a ham, no one's ever called us to do anything like that down here. So that must be in other areas. I don't know that they've ever worked any event down here. And what would you do? Well, we need you to sit here and relay information to this other station down here. Really? I got a laptop on frickin' Wi-Fi. I got the sheet right here. I can just check them off. I don't need to call Somebody, yeah. Well, we need somebody to sit here and take emergency calls from our people, okay? Except they have to find a ham radio person to call you, because you cannot get on ham radio unless you're a ham radio operator. So that means we have to have ham radio operators all out there dispersed in with all the safety people and the security people and the medical people, because they're the only ones that can call for help on amateur radio. Why don't they just use their fire police or EMS radio, or maybe the GMRS event radio? That's how stupid this is. The days of us helping out at marathons has been over for 3 decades. Nobody realized it. It came and it went. Nobody's needed us to do a marathon in a long time. Now, that doesn't mean that you might not still do one. But you can buy blister pack radios and do your whole event. Buy radios that are $20 a piece at Walmart, and you can do your whole event on those. Buy some big packs of them Duracell batteries or Energizer, and you can do the whole event. You can buy a bunch of Baofangs and use rechargeable ones. I buy me a bunch of them Baofeng radios. Just program GMRS in them and go. You got your event channels right there. So there's no conspiracy or mystery as to why amateur radio people are not being asked anymore for to be used in things, to be brought into things. There's no mystery. That's why I don't understand when people, oh, there's a mystery. What could possibly be the mystery? There's no mystery. I'm telling you, there's no. You want to know what the mystery is? The mystery is why you think it's a mystery. That's what the mystery is. Old timers love to train. They love to attend meetings. They love to brag about when all else fails, who you're going to call. And then the moment the hurricane comes, they leave. The geriatric ARES members are gone exactly when they're supposed to be needed the most. Counties have lost all faith in some of the ARES groups out there because of this. And infrastructure doesn't fail like it used to, and that's just bottom line. And the old curmudgeons won't show up anyway, so why bother keeping a ham program? You train, you pay money, you waste your time, all this stuff, and at the end of the day, what do you have? You have a group of old men that are going to leave whenever the going gets tough. I mean, primary ham radio comms have gone from primary backup, they've gone from basically the primary backup, meaning that telephone was primary, and then radio would get you through when the phone lines went down. But now it's turned into a tertiary, maybe even more than that. I mean, it's because what do they need it for? That's why I'm really having a hard time with why do we even need ARES anymore? Why do we need it? It's one of those programs that the ARRL has not improved on in years. They're appointing people to be leaders of this stuff, and they're not even got their book done or nothing. The thing's just a mess, and it doesn't surprise me that it's a mess all over the country. Not at every place, but all over the country. It's a mess. Why? Because the ARRL is coordinating it. And everything they touch turns to shit. They're paying their CEO $360,000 a year plus benefits for a volunteer organization that is screwing up everything they're supposed to be doing right now. Between internet, phone, public safety, radio, everything's so hardened now. I mean, there's just no reason to even have any more. ARES and RACES is very much like the ARRL. It's very much like the NTS, the National Traffic System. It's tradition. We don't want to let go. We don't want to let go because it's tradition. I hear those old guys on there on the Eagle Net in the evening And over here, I don't even know if they do it anymore, but they used to have an NTS net here at 10 o'clock in the morning. And they would do this whole net every morning, and all they like to do is correct each other. It was literally a net where you get on and everyone tries their best to correct everyone else. I've never seen anything like it. And the first exposure I had to the NTS, or the National Traffic System, was hearing my name and my private phone number and my address being given out over an open radio frequency, because they were going to send me a radiogram to thank me for getting licensed and to join the Fort Myers Radio Club. I'm former law enforcement. You can only imagine how freaked out I got when I heard my name and my private telephone number being given out over the open frequency. I freaked out. And I told them I thought it was a bad practice. They don't care. They still do it today. And why do they do the NTS? Well, what is the NTS for? Well, here's the thing. I don't know. It used to be a way to send messages across the world. If you had a friend, let's say you had a friend, Lee, in Japan, and he's your friend, and you want to communicate with him. Well, back then, it may or may not even be possible in the 60s or 70s to make a direct phone call. But there was two ways. There was radiograms and there was HF radio. Radiograms would work. They would literally take your message and forward it across the country, or in some cases across the world, to other operators around, and it would be passed from station to station to station via radio. The problem is, it's just all messed up now and it's stupid. Anyway, what ended up happening was one operator in Fort Myers called another operator in Fort Myers and gave it to him to give to me. And when I didn't answer the radio, they called this guy and said, we need you to deliver the message. Well, I was in the shower. I didn't answer the radio. Why were they calling me in the shower anyway? So I'm like, okay. I wait for the message to come. I wait. About 4 days later, I get a letter in the mail, a handwritten letter with a stamp on it. It had been a long time since I'd gotten a handwritten letter with a stamp on it. And I opened it up, and it was one of those yellow radiogram forms folded up inside. And it said, you know, something like, congratulations on getting your license. Stop something. It said, I don't know. It said, then it said, contact the sender of this message to find out more about NTS traffic handling. That was the message. So the message was, contact the guy that gave you the message, and he'll explain to you where this message came from and why. But it was confusing because it was mailed to me in snail mail. So I called the guy. He's a grumpy asshole. I'm like, hi, yeah, it's Ian, KO4EFS. You sent me a message in the mail. Yeah, I mailed it to you. Just like that. I'm like, okay. I said, the message says to call you so you can tell me all about NTS. Don't you have the internet? Well, yeah, but the message was to call you so you could get me involved. Look, I'm busy, man. I'm in Publix getting groceries. I said, would you like to call me back? No, just look it up, dude. Seriously. Okay. So I hung up. And I never got it. Oh, and the only other thing that I can report on that, I ordered yellow message pads and paid for them through the ARRL. It took them over 3.5 months to deliver those message pads. By the time they delivered the message pads, I had already decided for 2 months that I was not going to be doing the National Traffic System. I still have those packs of pads up there. Pads of, they switched from yellow ones to white ones to save money. They got to save money because the CEO needs a raise next year. I don't think I'm getting all the messages tonight again. All right, so anyway, that's my ARES story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't. ARES is ARRL. ARRL is ARES, and I think they're both going down, circling the rim, ready to flush. The problem is the ARRL won't even call you back. They appoint people based on, I don't know, loyalty or something. I don't know. The people they appoint aren't even qualified. It's gatekeeping. Everywhere I go in ham radio, everywhere I ever go in ham radio, there's gatekeeping. I do, Heath. I tell you guys exactly how I feel. I tell you exactly how I feel. Because I can't go out and handle it the way I'd like to handle it. But if I can't handle it the way I want to handle it, then yeah, I'm at least going to be, outspoken about it. Absolutely. Let's see here. Yep, Seattle is now communist. We now have communist New York. We have the Socialist Republic of New York. And now we're slowly getting the Socialist Republic of Seattle. Yep. He actually said, Memdani actually said last night in a speech that we need to give up on this notion of freedom and bask in the warmness of collectivism. That should scare the shit out of everybody. That's bad news bears. He also has said before that the best way to operate is for the government to control all means of production. That's communism. The guy's a socialist communist. And it scares the shit out of me. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where we go with this. I'll tell you what's going to happen. The Civil War is being fought right now, guys. I keep saying this. Look, the original Civil War took years to fight. This one's taken years too. Luckily, this one doesn't involve killing anybody. No, it's not an insurrection. It's happening. It's happening. We're fighting the war with Ryder trucks and U-Haul trucks. We're fighting the war with congressional seats. Do you guys realize the uphill battle the left has right now to get the Congress back? With all this gerrymandering and redistricting, all the Republicans finally decided, you know what, the Democrats are not the only ones that are going to do gerrymandering. And so they started doing it. And hey, it works. And so we're going to end up picking up some seats. I think we're going to do pretty good in the midterms. Normally, after a big win for a president, normally he sees losses in the first midterm. And we got to be careful because that's the trend. However, I don't see that right now. I think we're looking pretty good. I think we're looking good because of 2 or 3 different things. Number one, we're gaining seats because we're finally re-gerrymandering these seats back. The left has been gerrymandering for years, meaning moving congressional seats around in order to gain more blue seats. The Republicans Trump finally came out and said, why are you guys not doing this? They've been doing it for 30 years. The reason they've had control over and over and over of the Congress is not because there's more people that think like them than us. It's simply because of the cheating at election time, and the gerrymandering of the districts and all the different things that they do in order to win. And the Republicans need to step up to the game. I'm not proposing anything illegal, but we need to step up and do all the legal things we can do. like keeping elections above board as possible and gerrymandering these districts back to the way they were, or back to where it's fair, or at least back the other way. And then the other big thing that's about to happen, and that's in 5 years. In 5 years, I think I'll definitely live long enough to see this. In 5 years, we're going to do the census again. J.D. Vance will be president at this point, and we're going to do the census again. And this time when we do the census, they're not going to count illegals. They're not going to count people who are here illegally. That, coupled with the fact that Democrats and Republicans are fleeing blue states for red states right now. In New York, it's a buyer's market on houses. In Florida, it's a seller's market right now. Why such a difference? Because everybody's leaving there and moving down here. Everybody in New York's selling property. Everybody in Florida's buying it. And the reason? Lower taxes, more freedom. We don't give all our money away into social welfare programs. People like it down here. They like Florida because of the way we do our politics, and because of the way we do our freedom, and because of the way we do our taxes. So people are moving here. Well, when they move here and they leave there, if enough of them do that, we pick up a congressional seat. My prediction right now is we're going to get 3. I think we're going to take 3 congressional seats, and I think Texas is going to end up with 3. Georgia and the Carolinas, all that, each could pick up 1 each. I'm not sure. Yeah, deplorably, that's what the left does. Anytime they're losing an election, they suddenly find more ballots. They suddenly have to take 3 days to count. There's suddenly something wrong with the machine. And yeah, it'll always come out the other way when it's all said and done. Look, the left has been rigging elections for a very long time. And I think the right's finally realizing, you know, you can wear the white hat, but you still have to do what you have to do to get things done by the end of the day. Yeah, well, Heath, I don't know. Those files are not as much of a priority for many people as they are for you. I would like to see them open as well. I'd like to see more. There's more coming out. There's been a lot coming out. The redactions have been less than I thought. In fact, a lot of the redactions, you can load the PDF file and just remove the redactions, and you can see everything. They've already posted full versions of a lot of it. Yeah, the left is simmered down because I think they're realizing there's not much to be gained from this Epstein thing. It hurts both sides. It hurts them more. But yeah, with the Minnesota fraud stuff going on, it's just not a good time to be a Democrat. They drank the Kool-Aid. That's right. Well, that's already kind of happened, Heath, as far as the blue cities needing bailed out. That's already happening. I mean, you know, your red states traditionally pay more into the federal tax base, and your blue states generally take more out. Yeah, well, there's 92 arrests have been made so far. 82 of them are Somali nationals or Somali citizens, or American citizens from Somali. They fit one of those categories. And they've arrested 92 people. 82 are Somali. So we're talking about 88% or more. It is what it is, right? It's like what 90. We're talking about pretty much almost 90%. So. Man, I don't feel too good tonight. Let's see here. What else do we got going on? It's been a long week. I was off yesterday. Didn't go to work yesterday because we didn't have work yesterday. And I'm still like exhausted today for some reason. Okay, I'll take any open line questions in the chat room. That's what I had on that. As far as to sum it up in a few sentences, when it comes to ARES and races, I would just, it is what it is. Just let it die. Yeah. Hold on just 1 second here. Hit that. All right. How anyone that knows anything about anything ever in the world could be for socialism, I don't know. Yeah, she hasn't scratched to come back in yet. Let me see. Mama? Yeah, it's in the upper 50s out there. It's not, to them, that's not even cold. She's fine. I'll get her in before I go to bed. If All right, so I want to go ahead and let's talk next about the this plot in North Carolina. This has been something else that's been going on here. This is kind of the third plot. The first one was that big cell phone thing that was designed to saturate the cell phone service, and that was in New York. The second one was over in LA and along the Pacific coast over there in California. There was going to be bombs that were going to go into places where it was very populated. That was foiled. They got the bombs, they got the guys. Now we're talking about another one that they foiled right up before the new year. The individual arrested, his name is Christian Sturtevant, and he's 18 years old. He's a U.S. Citizen residing in Mint Hill, which is a suburb of Charlotte, North Carolina. He turned 18 in December 2025 and was previously known to authorities as a juvenile. That's interesting. He literally is a keeper right now. He just turned 18. Initial contact, the person's first came into the FBI's attention back in January 22 when he was 14. He contacted an overseas ISIS member via social media who instructed him to dress in black, knock on doors, and attack people with a hammer. A family member intervened, leading to psychological care instead of charges. There's your first problem. See, he wasn't a bad person. He just got in with a bad crowd. Whatever. Around December 18th, 25, the FBI discovered this person was posting pro-ISIS content on TikTok under the pseudonym Abu Bakr al-Amaki, including images cursing Christians, which violated earlier restrictions on his social media access and triggered another rapid investigation. He proclaimed himself a soldier of the state, referring to ISIS, and sent a voice recording of a loyal oath to uncover undercover agents he believed were ISIS affiliates, demonstrating his intent to support the group's ideology of violence against non-believers. Remember, the Quran is the only religion on earth that teaches that if you don't believe in the command, in the Quran, you should be smited out of existence. It's like the Bible says, if they don't believe in the Bible, let's go talk to them some more. If they don't believe in the Bible, let's go talk to them some more. If they don't believe in the Bible, well, let's just leave them alone then. I mean, that's pretty much how it works, right? The same thing with the Jewish faith, the same thing with Buddhism, the same thing. All these religions, none of them command you to do anything evil because someone doesn't believe in the religion. That is only one religion that's like that. He intended to use 2 butcher knives, a blue hammer, and a wooden-handled hammer for stabbing attacks. He also sought help to acquire a firearm and planned a martyrdom op. They call it a martyrdom op or operation to engage responding police, meaning that he knows he's going to die anyway, so he's going to try to take someone with him. Inspired by ISIS propaganda promoting knives and vehicle rammings. The plot had been in development for about a year, escalating in December 2025 when communications started around December 12th. It was specifically timed on New Year's Eve this year, as detailed in the handwritten manifesto titled New Year's Eve Attack 2026. Although that doesn't make sense because technically New Year's Eve 2025, New Year's Day 2026, but he's an idiot, so we'll just leave it there. Authorities found a detailed manifesto at the home outlining the attack, including sections on targeting civilians and law enforcement, a list of specific targets, what to wear, tactical gear, gloves, vest, mask, and execution steps hidden under his bed, along with weapons. The FBI's Charlotte field office initiated a probe after learning of this person's pro-ISIS TikTok posts on December 18th, 2025, leading to search warrants for his accounts and uncovering his communications with undercover operatives. Undercover operation. He communicated with undercover NYPD and government agents posing as ISIS members starting December 12th, sharing weapon images, pledging loyalty, and discussing the attack details, which provided key evidence to foil the plot. On December 29th, the FBI executed a search warrant at his residence, recovering knives, hammers, tactical gear, a manifesto, and his phone, which contained further incriminating communications and plans. The dude was arrested on December 31st, 2025, New Year's Eve, as he was being released from the local medical facility. The arrest involved coordination among FBI, NYPD, Mint Hill Police, and the Joint Terrorism Task Force. He faces charges of attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization, namely ISIS, with a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison if convicted. He is currently held in federal custody at the Gadsden County Jail, with court appearance scheduled for January 3rd and 7th. U.S. Attorney Russ Ferguson described the plot as very well planned and credited swift action for preventing deaths. FBI Special Agent James Barnacle, yes, his name's James Barnacle Jr., emphasized that the 24/7 effort over 2 weeks and the role of partnerships in disrupting the threat. FBI Director Kash Patel praised that the teams for saving lives with this foiling this. This is at least the second major ISIS-inspired New Year's attack disrupted in 2025, following a bomb plot in Los Angeles, and highlights risk of radicalization online, especially among youth, and the need for public reporting of suspicious activity to counter jihadist ideologies. And there you go, guys. That is what happened up there. Yeah, see, that's the thing these people don't realize. It's like they want something better than what we have right now. I got news for you. No one ever anywhere in the world has ever lived as good as we live right now in the United States of America. Whether it's running water, whether it's hospital care and antibiotics and medicines and analgesics. I mean, when you look at where we've come just in medicine alone, look where we've come in aftercare and the care of the sick, wounded, and injured. If you look at where we've come in living conditions, our beautiful big homes that we have today, look how we live in this country. There's no time on earth that was a better time to live than right now. Right now. And where? Right here. That's why when that dumb woman, Rosie O'Donnell, said that she wants to go to, she's moving to wherever that woman was moving to. I'm sorry, anytime I talk about her, the term dumb bitch comes out of my mouth, and I try not to use that on the air because it is a little bit demeaning. But in her case, I probably should get a pass. She moved to like Finland or some shit, I don't know. And now she's like become this big mouthpiece. But every time they talk to her, she's back here for something. The whole thing was just a sham. See, the problem is all these assholes move out of the country. Actually, most of them that threaten to move never move. And the ones that do move, they all move back. Why? Look, if they're rich, if there was a better place to live, they'd already be living there. Ireland, that's it. Yeah, if I was Ireland, I would say, no thanks. Yeah, no thanks. You keep that crazy, you know what. I don't use that language on here, anyway. I was a fireman. I don't know if you guys know it or not. Firefighters, we taught the sailors how to cuss. So I don't know if you guys knew that or not. We actually invented cussing. Yeah, we did. We did. And then we told George Carlin about it. So, I mean, this goes way back. Anyway, there's really no weather to talk about. There's a little bit here in the east. Rain moving into California. We've got flood watches up along California, and also a general thunderstorm risk up along the coast here, as these thunderstorms looks like it's about to rain like hell in Quincy. Look like Chico just got some pretty heavy rain moving through there. So yeah, we've got it moving up the coast here, moving up out of California here even, and we're going to start seeing it more up here in Oregon. So that's going to cross over. The East Coast has seen a lot of rain this year, where places over on our side are more towards a drought situation. Yep, I wish that all these people that say they want to move would just go ahead and move. Just please, just move, dude. Just go ahead. Seriously, move. We want you to move. We want you to move your ass. I mean, literally, just move it out, man. Seriously. Oh, that's the same one twice. I don't need that shit. What's this one look like? some rain shots of the rain coming in to the Cartersville area there. That's Cartersville, which is right up there near Atlanta, north of Atlanta. And it looks like, Heath, it looks like you're going to be getting some rain coming through overnight. Yeah, I'm checking. Yes, we had a 6.5 magnitude earthquake. It's going to be in southern Mexico, in Rancho Vijo, northwest of Rancho Vijo. It's going to be a 35-kilometer depth, and that puts it right on the southern coast down there. Before it turns into Guatemala. And there's been 3 other subsequent quakes. But yeah, 6.5, that's a pretty good earthquake. And if you want to know where this is, anybody that watched The Love Boat, if you've ever watched The Love Boat, this occurred literally about 5 miles outside of Acapulco. Acapulco is where the cruise, the Love Boat, used to go to. Nearly every week, that's where they would end up, is in Acapulco. Hey, Prism. Yep, that's our earthquake in Mexico. That's what we've got there. Let me see if I can... Whoa, what the hell? I don't know what that was all about. I don't know what that radar's doing. It's weird. All right, here's where it is, guys. This is in Acapulco, and here's your information on it. It's a 6.5 magnitude quake. It's going to be 4 kilometers northwest of Rancho Vijo, and that's in Mexico. And there's your latitude and longitude. Let's see, do we have a shake wrap? Is there a shake map? Yes, here's the shake map. Okay, so there was some pretty good shaking here in this yellow area right here. That area saw some really good shaking. So there's definitely some people definitely felt this one. There could be structural damage with this one. There's the full shake map there. You can see there's a lot of areas that got into the strong and very strong range. All the way over to Acapulco. So Lots of shaking there. Yeah, Georgia is wet. I mean, it's going to be pretty much the whole state, unless you're way down in the south part by Tifton. Anything north of Tifton, you're probably going to see rain tonight. And it's coming in pretty heavy. The Atlanta Metro is about to get wet, and I mean, it's going to be a pretty nice one here. It's coming in pretty good. Look, watch this coming in on this last frame here. I mean, this entire complex here, I mean, you got this huge complex of storms here, and this whole thing is moving. It's going to move right over Atlanta, Georgia. So Atlanta, probably a few inches in the next few hours, and it's literally starting to rain at the airport right now. You got the airport right down here. The rain's just now starting to move into the airport. Let's go ahead and put this in the other mode. Let me see if I can get it to do it here. Let me put it in single mode, because single mode shows us a lot more definition. And then we have to pick the radar, so we're going to use the Peachtree City radar. And this will give us a lot more definition. And again, you can see very heavy rain now moving into the Atlanta Metro. Yeah, Heath, it always does that, man. When it's cold enough for snow, it doesn't snow, and then as soon as it warms up again, it starts raining. It does that up there because we're still kind of in the south, so. But yeah, it does seem to do that up there. Wow. See, Atlanta's already gotten some rain, and this last little bit is really stacking up. I'm going to set the radar back to, if I can do it here. I'm going to set it back to 14 frames. I had it set on 75, which is great when you're analyzing something, but when you're just covering weather like this, that's too far back. All right, here we go. This is good here. And like I said, this is just coming into the metro now. The airport's right here, and it's just coming into the airport. Atlanta's Hartsfield Airport, 192 gates. Well, that's Miami. I could have swore Atlanta had a live camera. I don't know what that radar is doing. It's like spazzing out and shit. That's kind of crazy that I guess that there was a live Atlanta camera out of the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, but okay, so the last thing I want to do tonight, I think this will be fun. I've been playing with the image generator and I made a bunch more images. And I wanted to show you guys some of the images that I made. They are hilarious. So one thing I wanted to do tonight was take you guys on a little journey where I show you some of the pictures I was able to make with this the new image generator. And I have been, as you know, I have been thoroughly impressed. Oh, you bastard. I've been thoroughly impressed with what this thing can do. And I have made some absolutely hilarious pictures. And I had Kat, for those of you who don't know who Kat is, Katrina is my call screener. And so I had her send me a picture that she likes, and then that way I could start using it to put her in to stuff. And so that's kind of where we're at. And so I got a picture from her, and I was able to use that to start putting her into stuff. And there you go. So I'm gonna try to do this here and see if I can. What's the best way to do this? But I think I can just open. Now I should be able to arrow. Okay. Nope, that's not going to work either. Nope, now it's just literally going all over the place. Okay, so let's do it the other way here. Right click, copy, new folder, paste, okay, so what I did was I went on and I tried to start making some, trying to figure out how to make it, what to make, So I'm going to tell you guys the story of how this is going to work out here. I kind of just started thinking, okay, what would I do? So you guys saw last night where I did the ones with him on the bridge and all that. So I remade those last night. Here it is with Katrina in the pictures as well. I literally just had it add her to the picture. And you don't mess with her, dude. I'm telling you, she's one bad bitch. You don't mess with her now. That's my call screener. You don't mess with her. All right, and because she'll like literally burn you down with a phaser and not think twice about it. So then I started thinking, what other kind of pictures can I do, right? So I started doing okay, have them beaming in, different kinds of pictures, beaming in, beaming out, what other kinds of pictures. That one didn't come out right. I don't know. So I started saying, well, what about all that tactical gear they wear, right? Now, so okay, so here we go. So I'm trying to get us in tactical gear. Oh God. Yeah. That's called loaded for bear right there. Ain't no bullshit. Oh, so then I'm like, all right, what if we were on a planet and we were being attacked by Democrats? What would that look like? No, what would it look like? No, it wouldn't really look like dragons, I don't think. I don't think it would look like dragons, would it? No? Uh, no, I don't think so. I don't think it's dragons. Maybe it would be like, maybe donkeys, you know, like maybe these donkeys are on this planet and we're chasing the donkeys and burning down some donkeys. Maybe that would work, right? I mean, that'd be a fun title, right? It couldn't hurt. So what would it actually look like? Oh my God. It was terrible. They just kept coming and coming. I went through 4 power packs and they still kept coming over the rise. I burned them down. That's from Captain Ron Tracy, the Omega Glory, for those original series guys. All right, so then I'm thinking, all right, so we've got this attack going. They're coming over the ridge. Here we go with the donkeys. And then I'm thinking, okay, so maybe, just maybe, well, you know what, Heath, that's been retconned a bit over the years, but in later renditions, the Enterprise can fly into the atmosphere. In the original series, you assumed it couldn't. But anyway, I know that's not exactly a straight answer, but anyway. So there we go. It would be nice if they could cut loose on them donkeys with the phasers in the ship. It would be a lot quicker than burning down these Democrats with a phaser out here on the side. But anyway, so then we went back up to the ship. We got together. Hey, this all went pretty well. Yeah, it went pretty well. And so we just kind of then decided to, you know, just hang out and, you know, do us like a standard orbit or something, you know, do something. And then so they started writing books and TV shows for this new cast of Captain Trey Radel and his science officer and his communications officer, and how they traveled through the galaxy, and they did things and they saw things. So how can we do this? How can we get this captain out there? Well, we're going to have to make some movies. We're going to have to do some movies. So they started by writing some books, and people started liking the books. One of the first books they wrote was Star Trek Foothold: The Fight Against Communism Stretching Across the Galaxy. And this was a great book. It won them international acclaim, as the book basically would look at what happens with communism and socialism in the future, and how even in the future we have to always be fighting communism and radical communism and socialism. And so then they're like, you know, we need to do more of this. There needs to be more like this. So then we created the next one here. Let me figure out which one it is. Here it is. Then we figured out this one here. This is Star Trek: A Time to Stand, pushing back the scourge of communism. That's my cue to let her back in. I'm coming, Mama. Come on, baby girl. That cat has me trained. You have me trained, don't you, big girl? Did you have fun out there? Oh, you're cold. All right. So then anyway, so on this one here, you can see we're literally fighting the Borg, the AOC Borg, and the Bernie Sanders Borg. Yes, the communists are the Borg. Don't shoot, we're Republicans. I love it. All right, so let's see. Oh, and then and then they take on king size fraud, galaxy size fraud, starring Tim Walls as the Queen Borg. Oh God, these are good. Aren't these good? Or is it just me? And then so we went ahead. That one was so successful. I mean, it was just so successful. We went ahead and wrote another one. This one, The Way of Socialism: A Time to Fight Back. And then I realized, no, wrong heads. We weren't supposed to have the Klingon heads. They were. These are gems, I'm telling you. This is so good. I can't look at these without laughing. They're so good. I'm sorry. And then my favorite book, the one that finally got us the critical acclaim, that finally got us all the pub rights and all the guest spots at all the different conventions, was finally this book. This was a great book. Star Trek: Freedom's Last Stand. The final battle for democracy begins. And you can see us there holding back the Democrats. Okay, so yes, Klingon is an actual language. Yes, people can speak it. Yes, there's an entire book called Fluent. I think it's called Fluent Klingon or something like that. Conversational Klingon. That's what it's called. It's 3,000 or 4,000 words. You can speak it. It's a working language. It was written by a linguist. All right, so there you go. This is my favorite one here. Of all the pictures, this is my favorite one. So after this book was sold, after this book came out, it went right to the #1 New York Times bestseller list. And so they had the author, who is my boss Jeff, come down and sign the books because he wrote them. And so they had him come down and sign the books. Now I want you guys to notice quinky dinks about these pictures. At this point, I've been making pictures on this AI for like 2 days now, and it's getting sick of me, right? So what it's doing now is it's starting to put AOC in every one of my pictures. Now, I'm not shitting you. From this point on, every picture I made had AOC in it, okay? If you notice, that's her standing to the right there. Her smile's a little off, but that's her. Notice the girl here is wearing a shirt that has the name of the book on it that he's signing. I thought that was really cool. And by the way, the Trey Radel story is the story of the USS Liberty, the NCC 1776. If you guys didn't catch all my little nuances in there. NCC 1776, USS Liberty. Tell me that's not the best ship ever. So anyway, so then Jeff went and he signed books. And man, there was a bunch of these too. He signed books there, signed books here. Oh my God, there was like book signings everywhere. And we were like signing books, and he was having a good time with it. But then finally it was like we were starting to get enough critical acclaim that, you know, he couldn't quite sign enough books. Here's another one here, another bookstore. Another day, another bookstore. So finally, he says, hey guys, look, I got his, because he's also our publisher and our manager, by the way. He's also my boss at work. That's why I'm using him for this role. Jeff, who's a great guy, wrote these books, and so he says, hey man, I got us in the Air and Space Museum to sign autographs. And I'm like, no, you're kidding me. He says, no, seriously, I did. And I'm like, no, you're full of shit. And so we went back and forth. And now I can't find it. Where did it go? Hold on. Let me look. I just talked about a picture that I can't find. Where is it at? Here it is. So then we end up in the Air and Space Museum. And there we are signing our autographs for our fans. And way back here, there's AOC in the back. But anyway, the point is there we are. There, and I love how everybody dresses up for the conventions now. But so anyway, he's signing copies of his books, and you can see Trey and I there signing copies, autograph pictures for our fans. So many fans. And then after that, just more and more fans, because it wasn't long after that we appeared in Starlog magazine. And once we were in Starlog magazine, I mean, that was it. It just went crazy from there on. We just like completely went out. And just the publicity was off the charts. We were one of Paramount Plus's #1 shows at the time. Our books were #1 sellers on the bestseller list, and things were going great. And then boom, there. Next thing you know, we're on the cover of Starlog. I couldn't believe it. And so there you go. And then, I mean, as you guys know, Trey Radel made it on the cover of TV Guide. That was pretty cool. And then when it actually debuted, he got another cover on TV Guide. I couldn't believe it. It was like the asshole got 2 covers, right? So anyway, figures, right? I wish I was pretty. Anyway, and he even literally got his own action figure, right? I mean, come on, his own action figure? Give me a break, right? You know, and then it was one book after the next, and we were busy, man. It was busy, constantly busy, and there you go. Let me see what else I got here. I lost my place. There we go. So then it was one convention after the next. Oh my God, one convention after the next. There we are signing autographs. Again, AOC there in command burgundy there and a TNG uniform on the right. Every picture from here on, AOC is in it. Notice we're signing pictures of ourselves, and the pictures are pictures of ourselves, which I mean, when I look at this thing, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, you know, this thing does really good at like getting all the facts right. I mean, look at the poster in the back. Follow the adventures of the USS Liberty. And by the way, everywhere you see the ship, it says USS Liberty, NCC 1776. It says it right on it. So there we are signing autographs. And then they're like, hey, we need you to sign more autographs. I'm like, dude, I'm already signing them. So the next day, back down there again, signing autographs. Another day, another convention. I want you guys to notice AOC still there. But she's not just here. She's also wearing a science green uniform up here in the poster, along with Kamala Harris. What the F is going on? Oh, I just can't get enough of this shit. Oh my God, that's freaking funny. I'm sorry, that's just hilarious. And then there was this one a couple weeks later, and we're signing autographs again. Here we go. And I don't know where she is in this one. Michael Dorn shows up in a couple of them too. You know, you never know who's going to show up. Is that crazy or what? Let's see here. Did I show them all to you? Oh wait. Oh, there was that other convention a couple weeks ago. This one here. This is the one where Michael Dorn showed up and had me sign an autograph of myself for him. Great job, Michael Dorn. He's a lot shorter than I thought he was going to be. So where's AOC in this one? Have you found her yet? Yeah, that's Kamala Harris. She's right there. I don't know if AOC's in this one, but Kamala's in it. She ended up in the poster. Oh, I think I got another one from that convention. Oh yeah, there it is. This is that point where Trey got up to go to the bathroom and some guy just came over and sat down. And I'm laughing because I'm like, I don't even know who this guy is, but he's signing the pictures and giving them back to people. It's crazy. Where's AOC? Look, she's in the poster. She's right there. Oh, and she's also right there. Oh my God. That's also Gavin Newsom on the sign too, if you're wondering who the guy is. The bigger face guy. That's Gavin Newsom. See, anytime you ask them to put somebody in a poster, they start putting them in all the posters. The thing kind of, it has a memory, and I don't know if I like that or not. Let me see if I've got them all here. Oh, I love this one. I think that's probably my favorite movie poster. Isn't that good? Star Trek Foothold. The fight against communism stretches across the galaxy. And I love the evil Joe Biden in the background. Of course, he's not cognizant enough to even get mad anymore. It's like Where's Waldo with AOC. You're right. Oh, that's interesting, Deploribus. I don't think I knew anything about that. But anyway, the bottom line, guys, you can write your own story. You can put your own pictures in. You can fake whatever you want now. I mean, it's these are all done with prompts. I literally I put the prompt in, and it makes the picture. This one here, I said put a publicity shot, and I just put where I wanted everybody standing. I put what uniforms I wanted them in, what rank I wanted on each uniform, what color I wanted each uniform to be. You have to be very specific. And I don't even like that. I actually prefer this one better. He looks better sitting in the chair. I like it. I think it's awesome. I'm trying to see. I'm just looking to make sure I showed you guys everything. I don't know what you just knocked off, but you knocked it off. Whatever. My switches, I think. Good going. This is another going here. A time to stand. Pushing back the scourge of communism. Yes. But I want you guys to think about this now. People used to get paid big money to make these covers of these books. Of course, I used to get paid decent money to voice things. I don't voice anymore. Mama, is that what's the deal is? You're back in the wires? What's up with that? What'd you go back there for? There's nothing serviceable back there for kiddies. I like the stories on this. If you guys want to read this this episode of Starlog, Paramount promises once again to dial down the woke. Hollywood moves to Georgia, AI will replace traditional filmmaking by Friday. I love it. That's crazy, Deploribus. I'm going to look that up because that's an interesting story. Yes, you guys can. Let me get the links for you. Hold on, I gotta go. I realize this thing's been opening pictures on top of pictures, and let me get that for you. Hold on just a second, and I'll find that. Okay, the easiest way to listen live between 5 and 8 on weekdays, 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern, the easiest way to listen to our show is using that link right there, going to TuneIn. And then... And then if you want to listen to episodes later with the commercials removed, you would use this link. And that should open it for you. Let's see. That opens the Spotify web player. And then from there you can go down and pick the episode you want. We've got, we put up 2 or 3 hours a day that's available for you. So that's how you do it. Well, I hate to say the captain was an idiot. He was actually was not an idiot, but there was mistakes made by a lot of different humans. You know, one of the things, whether it's a plane crash or a ship sinking or whatever disaster you're talking about, it's generally never one mistake. It's generally never one problem or one thing snapping or whatever. Usually our world, our life, especially aviation, is designed with redundancies. It's designed to handle breakdowns. Everything we do has a backup, you know, and everything's supposed to kick in. It's when there's a string of errors that you have the problem. You know, the guy didn't have his binoculars up in the lookout on the Titanic. Was that the cause of the wreck? No, it was just one small part in the comedy or the piece of errors that went into that night. And I don't have all the facts in front of me, but there was a lot of different things that led to that, to the fact that it happened the way it did. And also, one of my big problems is the captain ordered full reverse rudder, full reverse thrust, and then he ordered the rudder, full starboard or full port, whatever. That to me was a mistake. I think he should have powered out of it. I think he should have stayed at steam, and I think he should have turned hard into it and tea-kettled around it. I think that's the only way he could have saved that ship, but I don't think it's something they would have even known to do back then. That thing had 3 screws. Only the middle screw had a rudder on it. So that thing was a big ship with a small rudder. So it didn't, it took literally half an ocean to turn it around. And when you reverse thrust, you actually order the engine room to turn the screw the other way and to then run that up to whatever power you can get it up to. Reverse flank, basically. Once you give that order, you've now reduced what that rudder can do by 80 or 90%. So what he did was, instead of steering around it, he put on the brakes. Well, you're not going to stop that ship in time. So was there mistakes made? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would like to think, if it was up to me and I saw my ship coming in on that iceberg and I knew there's probably no way I'll get it stopped, I'm going to steer into it. I'm going to stay, I'm going to order all ahead flank. I'm going to steer right into it. Because remember, your steering's on the back. This was in the years before bow thrusters, okay? Another thing people don't realize, we have bow thrusters nowadays. When a ship gets ready to leave, we have bow thrusters, and we actually have aft thrusters as well. And the ship will literally move out like this away from the dock using the thrusters. In the old days, it wasn't like that. You had to literally pull it away from the dock and slowly move it out to where it was away from the dock. Well, as this thing's coming in hard on that iceberg, I tend to think that had he steered into it for about 2 minutes, put a lot of input into it, all the way to the right, okay? Bring the ass end closer to the iceberg. In other words, steer into it, all right? That's not going to affect the front of the ship at all. Then, once you bring that ass end over a little bit, now you put that rudder straight and you go straight. And what that will do is it changes your inertia from crossing over to going to the left. What you've just done is you bought yourself some more time to get steered over. But no one back then probably ever would have thought to steer the ship into the iceberg. But it could have saved it. If we would have steered the ass end of that ship into the iceberg for just a minute or two, and then straightened it out and pushed it as hard as we could, we would have been pulling away from it. You see what I mean? And as the ship is still drifting closer, we're moving away from it and drifting closer at the same time. There's a chance we could have cleared it. So, you know, I don't know. To say there was nothing that could have been done, I think there's plenty that could have been done. But I'm not going to call the captain an idiot. It was built to take on water in 4 compartments, and it flooded 5. That's correct. That's because they were expecting a puncture injury to the ship. They didn't build it thinking that 5 compartments were going to get ripped open. Actually, 3 got ripped open. 2 others were damaged and taking on water. And what ended up happening was it filled the first 5 compartments, which brought the nose down so low in the water that the water became flowing over the deck, over the watertight bulkheads. And once that started happening, it was a goner. There was no saving it. The only other thing that could have been done was after the strike. I don't know why this wasn't done. After the strike, I would have ordered full reverse. The ship was still running. The motors were still running. Everything was still running. I would have ordered full reverse. That would have began to move the ship away from the water that's rushing in. It would have bought some time. One would argue now we're evacuating a ship that's moving at 12 knots. Yeah, that's true. But by putting it in reverse, we would have been backing that away like that, and it would have slowed down the progress of the water moving through and over the top of the watertight bulkheads. Yeah, he went down with the ship. He stood at the wheel and went down with the ship. Yeah, I mean, he was damned anyway. So I would have tried something. Yeah, it was so cold that, and that old steel that they used to use on those ships got very brittle. Yeah. It was a cascade of events, which is what brought me into this discussion. It was a cascade of events. It was decisions made, decisions not made, bad decisions made, good decisions made, and it all came together to create what happened. Everything, plane crashes. This plane crashed. What is it? Well, this thing broke. But that shouldn't have brought it down. Well, the thing broke and the guy read the line wrong in the logbook. Oh, okay. And then the thing broke, the guy read the line wrong in the logbook, and the captain forgot to flip on the APC. So it ends up always being like, oh, and the maintenance guy didn't put the screws back in this thing. They always find that there's always 4 or 5 things that come together to create a catastrophic disaster, because man has become fairly good at getting it right the first time. So as long as our backups are good, our checklists are good, our procedures are good, we survive these things. It's when we have a multiple breakdown by multiple people and multiple pieces of equipment that we lose a bunch of lives. The bottom line is the Titanic was underpowered and way understeered. There's no way around it. They're building ships with half of that draft that has more horsepower today than those ships had back then. I mean, when you look at the weight difference on today's ships, it's crazy. I can't wait to see the first Trump-class battleship roll off the line, the USS Defiant. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the patch is going to look like for that ship. I know it's going to have something that brings you to Star Trek on it. I know it will. I know Trump. He's never even said he's a Star Trek fan. But look at everything he's done that has to do with space. He just copies whatever Star Trek did. I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to believe that Star Trek is literally the history of the future, the past of the future, or some stupid shit. But now we've got the USS Defiant. That's going to be the strongest ship on the planet. Most powerful battleship man has ever created. And we're calling it the USS Defiant because that was the most powerful battleship that the United Federation of Planets ever developed. You don't think that was a coincidence? Do you guys think that was a coincidence? I'm going to ask. I'm going to do a poll. Hold on. I hate the way this does this. It only gives me 35 characters. It's terrible. And I can't hardly do this with 35 characters. Okay, I have to do it that way. It just, it's terrible that it only gives you such a short amount of letters. The USS Defiant in Star Trek lore was the ship given to Ben Sisko. And it was given to Ben Sisko as he was at Deep Space Nine, the space station. He was promoted to captain and given that ship because he was the tip of the spear. That's where the Cardassians and the Jem'Hadar were going to come through that wormhole to take on our galaxy, our side of our quadrant anyway. And so that's how that ended up being like that. And that ended up being, they gave him this brand new ship that they had just commissioned, as it was supposed to be one of the strongest, most powerful ships that the Starfleet has ever made. I don't think my chat room is working again. You guys really think it was a coincidence that they named it Defiant? I mean, it is a cool name. I'll give you that. It could be. It could just literally be because it's a cool name. I'll give you that. All right, guys, anything else? I've been on 2.5 hours. I've still got to produce 2 shows before I can go to bed and load them for play in the morning. Is there anything else you guys want me to bring up or discuss tonight? It's been a decent crowd tonight. Good show. I'm glad everybody's here. I hope you had fun with the pictures tonight. I had fun showing them to you. I hope you find that as fascinating as I do. For those of you who missed it, we now have a space command, okay? And one of the most interesting things that I've seen in a very long time is the fact that he literally chose the logo for this space command, and he chose the United Federation of Planets logo from Star Trek, which I just absolutely find fascinating that that would even happen. All right, let me get that back in spot there. All right, yeah, this is the patches on the left, the United States Space Force patch, Department of the Air Force. On the right, the United Federation of Planets Starfleet Command patch. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that these two patches are in so many ways the same. Even the swoosh goes the same way. It's got the delta, the stars. Do you guys think that's a coincidence too? Because, I mean, to me, that's not a coincidence. That's crazy. Okay. There you go. All right. Yeah, go make you some AI pics. I love them. I absolutely love them. If you get some good ones, send them to me. I'll show them to everybody. Yeah, I'm going to continue to make some from time to time and show you guys. Most definitely. Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything else before I sign off? What is AI generated? The patch? I mean, that is their official patch. There's no mystery about that. That's been they're wearing that on their uniforms. I see them in press conferences. That is actually their patch. Yeah. Really, because I don't recall that. I've never seen a NASA logo that looked anything like the Delta. NASA didn't use the Delta as a logo. I mean, and NASA was literally in its infancy when Gene was thinking this up. We hadn't even gone to the moon yet. We were simply learning how to orbit our own planet at this point. And NASA was in its infancy, and I don't remember NASA having a logo like the Delta. All right. All right, Joey. Well, I'm glad you liked it. I'm hoping you guys had a good time. I'll be back tomorrow night. I'm on every night, guys. Every night, 9 p.m. Eastern. I do 2 or 3 hours each night. Yes, it's killing me. I don't care. I also went 2.5 hours tonight, never took a break. This is a problem I'm having. At work, I have to take breaks. The computer makes me take breaks. But here, the computer doesn't make me take breaks here, so I just go right on through them. But anyway, it doesn't matter. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like and subscribe. Please subscribe to this channel, but not the other one. But please go over and hit the subscribe over there. Just don't hit the bell, because that one over there will go on all hours of the day and night, on and off. This one here, I only do hosted coverage on this channel. So if you hit the bell here, you'll only be notified when I'm going live. Whether it's in the mobile car, the mobile unit as they call it. If I'm going somewhere in the car and I'm all set up in the car, or if I'm here, or if I'm on location, or if I'm storm chasing, whatever the case may be, working parks on the air, whatever, it'll be on this channel. The music channel, the 7.2, all the other stuff we do is all over on Starship After Dark. So check that out too. All right. Yeah, thanks for being here, Prism, Joey, and Catherine again. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you guys all being here. We find new friends every night, and that's what it's all about. That's why it takes years to build a YouTube channel. But that's the way it works. And we're moving right along here on this channel. It's going good. All right, guys. What the hell happened there? There we go. All right. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I'm going to play some music on the way out. As usual, I've got a music selection here. I literally have all my music right here, and I just pick what I want to play to get us out of the show. All right. I'm going to play one tonight called Analog Forever. It's Rage Against the Digital Machine. We'll see you guys later. I want you guys to have a good night out there. And We'll see you guys next time right here on the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name's Ian, and we are on every night at 9 p.m., so make sure you stop by and check it out. I think you guys will like it. All right, everybody. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. Have a good night, everybody. 7-3s.
Time hit a full of six string. Acoustic guitar play, mimicking someone jamming to the radio. Classic progressions, MG, simpler rigs in the shack, no fancy screens. Twist a knob, hit the mic, live your dreams. Cheaper to buy, easy to fix at home. Build your own circuits, never alone. Every radio talks to the next in line. Universal language, timeless design, analog forever. Crank it up high, more repeaters waiting under the sky. No proprietary chains holding you down, free as the ether all over town. Analog forever in emergency night, when the power is low, we still get it right. Hear that graceful fade, not a sudden drop dead. Analog breeze, digital's just code in your head. Homebrew antennas, soldering late. Classic nets call, never too late. The hobby's roots in the glow of the tune. Hands-on tradition, we never will lose. When the grid goes dark and the world feels the strain, analog whispers, we're talking again. Analog forever, let the signal soar. Traditional held like the days of yore. Warmer and truer, no artifacts here. Rock and roll radio, crystal clear. Analog forever, we're keeping it real. Turn up the volume, feel what we feel. analog forever, forever, forever. Keep the flame burning. 73 over.